Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit more shorter-term technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets because, guys, in the last 24 hours or so, Bitcoin has broken that all-important support level at $8,000. We've been talking about that being very important. It's a Fibonacci level, it's a VPVR level, and most importantly, it's a big even and a level that everybody was hoping that Bitcoin would hold. Unfortunately, Bitcoin moved into a consolidation pattern over the last few days. It tried to break bullish, but it failed, and last night we did fall below 8K. As you can see here on the chart, Bitcoin is now trading below $8,000, sitting around $7,870 at the time of recording this video. And guys, that's really interesting for two reasons. One, it's an interesting development because we broke $8,000. We kind of predicted that in yesterday's video. I wasn't totally sure on that, but I did have a feeling we were going to break bearish. But the other thing that's interesting about that is that, guys, we broke a very important level of support, but we only fell $100. What gives? Why didn't Bitcoin fall $1,000? This was supposed to be a big level of support. Why didn't Bitcoin move in a bigger way? Well, we're going to be diving into all of that in today's video, and I think the answers to those questions will be a good platform for us to teach you some of the interesting things about markets, volatility, and the strength of bulls and bears. Guys, I think we have a great video lined up for you today. If you do enjoy today's video, there's a few things you can do. First of all, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, guys. It doesn't cost you anything. I would love to see your pretty face moving on into the future. And also, if you haven't already, hit that like button, guys. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait for you to hit that like button. It's not that big a deal. It helps out the channel. Oh, okay, you did it? Okay, good. We can move forward now. One thing that I will mention briefly here at the outset of the video, and if you've already heard this message, a timestamp to skip this will be right here. But I do want to mention the first cohort for people who have not heard about it just yet, because I know there's a lot of you who don't even know this exists. If you guys aren't aware, on the day that we did the face reveal, the first cohort also launched, which is a $25 a month subscription service. You're going to be getting access to these 8 videos down here. That's about to be more like 10 to 12. I'm working on some videos on that right now. These cover everything you need to know about trading. This is very important stuff. This has to do with checklists, wisdom, things to know about margin trading, things to know about stop losses, how to set up a daily routine for trading. This is the more hands-on stuff in trading that you need to know. And also, guys, with this, you're going to be getting access to our private Discord server. That's where you can get to know me, I can get to know you, and that's also where I'm going to be posting signals and technical analysis on trades that I see happening. That's where we're going to be doing voice chats. I'm going to be doing one of those tonight. I'm going to dive in there and talk to you guys one-on-one. And also, when the first cohort grows a little bit larger and it's harder to have one-on-one communication with you guys, we're going to start doing live streams that are private to members of the first cohort. If you guys aren't already in the first cohort, several of you guys are, and I'm loving talking to you guys. I highly encourage you to check us out, the link down below. Guys, there are groups like this in the cryptocurrency market that go for $1,000 a month. That's not an exaggeration in the slightest. Some of you can think of an example. I know you can. One more thing, guys. A lot of you are in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. If you are, then what you can do is join the first cohort, shoot me an email with your Bitcoin address, and I will rebate you the first month's subscription fee in Bitcoin, so you basically get a free trial. Guys, I don't know what you're waiting for. I'm really looking forward to this growing. I think we're going to do great things over there. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. I think we're going to make a lot of money together. If you're interested, guys, the link is down below. Now, let's get on with the video. All right, guys, if you hit that timestamp, then this is where you should be. We are now through with the cheesy infomercial, so we can go ahead and get on with the technical analysis. Like I said, guys, last night, Bitcoin broke below $8,000, and it's kind of a big deal because, as you will know, $8,000 is a very important level of support on Bitcoin. If we bring up our VPVR here, then what we're going to find is that $8,000 is the VPVR climax for, wait for it, the entire year of 2019. Kind of a big deal, kind of something that we don't want to see Bitcoin fall below. Kind of a level of support that we'd like to see Bitcoin hold. But, you know, it's not necessarily the end of the world because something that's really interesting has happened. Bitcoin fell below $8,000 last night, but it hasn't really done a whole lot below $8,000. As you guys know, let's look at about a year ago when Bitcoin fell below $6,000. Right over here, you saw Bitcoin fall below 6, which was a very important level of support. And instead of Bitcoin just kind of doing this little whole drop $100 kind of thing, Bitcoin dropped by 50% over the span of the next month. I mean, we saw a negative 48% move. It was pretty huge. And I think it's really interesting that Bitcoin has only dropped about $100 after falling below $8,000. So what gives? Is this not an important level of support? Does Bitcoin just not care? Why did this happen? Well, if you guys are in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, then you're going to know why this happened. In the academy, we talk about a concept that I call the strength of the bulls and the bears. People call it different things, but I call it the strength of the bulls and the bears. Each of those factions has a certain strength. Each of the factions of support and resistance has a certain strength as well. This was a very strong level of support, but at the same time, another concept from CT2A comes into play. One of those concepts is that every support level is actually a zone of support. What do I mean by that? Well, if we come over here and we grab a rectangle tool, then what we're going to notice is that this level of support around $8,000 is actually more like a zone of support around $8,000. Am I saying that Bitcoin didn't break $8,000? No, that's not what I'm saying. Let me be clear on that. Bitcoin did break $8,000. It is falling through that support. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, Bitcoin didn't fall very far, so it's still in the zone of support around $8,000. Look at this. Bitcoin had very strong support at 8K before, but notice we fell below it several times over here and still, in general, managed to bounce back up above it. So getting a little bit below it for a day or two is not the end of the world. It could mean that a bounce is coming. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. We'll get into why here in just a second. But the first thing I want to point out is that this could also be looked at as a zone of support. Notice that this is coming from VPVR. This is VPVR support, and the VPVR is showing a lot of support around $8,000. It's not just $8,000, guys. 8K is an easy number to remember, but there is still a little bit of support going all the way down to maybe about 7750 right over here. You see that? So Bitcoin is still being caught by that. That's what's important. But of course, what is also important, guys, is that Bitcoin has shown that the bears are stronger than the resistance. They have shown that the bears are stronger than the bulls even still. And an easy way to understand that, guys, is by looking at this consolidation pattern that we were looking at in yesterday's video. This is very important because Bitcoin went into a consolidation pattern here. A bearish pennant is exactly what it is. Bitcoin should have broken bearish out of this, and in fact it did. But before doing that, Bitcoin tried to break to the upside. And that was really interesting because this is one of those decision points. It's a point of contention where the bulls and the bears are at odds with each other, and you really start to learn who's in control. If you will remember to yesterday's video, on the 4-hourly chart, I told you guys, if Bitcoin gets above the 20 exponential moving average on the 4-hourly chart, then we would be bullish, and that's where you might want to put a long position. Check this out. See, I'm not looking at it. See, look, mom, no eyes. Check this out. Bitcoin rejected at it. That's exactly where Bitcoin rejected, at the 20 exponential moving average on the 4-hourly chart. People that say technical analysis doesn't work just don't know what they're talking about. I mean, seriously. Bitcoin rejected there because the bulls were not strong enough to set a new uptrend in motion, which is why you do not put your entry position on a long right here, right above that downtrend of resistance, because it might get triggered and then you might get screwed and have to waste money on a stop loss. And the same thing is true for the short position. This could bounce here, so your short might open around 77.50. I have not started to short this market yet because Bitcoin has not shown bearish momentum. It hasn't shown a lot of volume. Cold coffee. The point here, guys, is this. Bitcoin tried to break bullish. The bulls tried to reestablish the trend and try to get it back in their control, and they failed pretty badly. Bitcoin started trending sideways after falling. Remember this, Bitcoin tried to break bullish, then it fell back to where it started, traded sideways, and then it fell again through support. The bulls are not the ones that are in control right now. The bears are in control right now. So let's look at the trade. I want to do this in every video from now on. What is the trade here? Well, guys, I think the trade is this. As I was showing you a second ago, Bitcoin is still in kind of this zone of support in between, we'll call it 77.50. So let's set that down here to $7,750 right there. And let's call it around $8,100, maybe $8,150, where Bitcoin had been getting support. And that does make a lot of sense on the VPVR. Let's go out to the daily chart, and we'll notice that Bitcoin does have a lot of support here in that zone around $8,000. Notice that? There's a lot of VPVR support, so that makes sense. The trade here is a little, I'm not exactly sure what I want to do on the trade here. This is somewhere that I'm trying to learn as well, because there's two scenarios that could play out here, guys, and one of them I really don't want to happen. One of the scenarios is that Bitcoin goes down to $7,200 and bounces from there, and we establish a double bottom. That, though, I'm not thinking is the most likely scenario. What I'm concerned about is Bitcoin starting to fall here and falling relatively rapidly, maybe all the way down to $6,000 or a little bit lower than that. I'm not predicting that happening, guys. I want to make that clear. But Bitcoin is not looking very healthy right now. As you know, Bitcoin rallied 45% over here. We pulled back about 20% on the day after that rally, before the daily candlestick even closed. That's this gigantic wick up here, which is normally a topping out pattern. It proved to be in this case. We traded sideways for 2 weeks as the bulls and the bears established which one had the dominance. And over the last 2 to 3 weeks, the bears have been gaining more and more of that control. There are two questions, and then one of those questions leads to another one. One, is the RSI on the daily chart, the MACD, and all these other overextended signals saying that the bulls are about to get a bounce? And should we be looking for a long position somewhere around $7,200? Or is Bitcoin going to continue to go bearish and move down to $7,200 and potentially break that as well? Because frankly, right now, guys, there's nothing really going on in the cryptocurrency market. The market is kind of boring. And because of that, people are leaving the market. We're not in an uptrend. People aren't making a ton of just blow off top kinds of money. The institutions are not moving in here really quickly. I mean, there's a lot of development going on, but it's just not as exciting as it once was. If Bitcoin does go bearish here, how far does it go? Guys, I think the next price target is $7,200. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I think that's where we're going. If Bitcoin doesn't get a bounce above 77.50, I expect a $7,200 Bitcoin, and I'll probably have a short position open around $7,700. I told you in yesterday's video, if we go below $8,000, I'm bearish, and I will more than likely be looking to short this market. I haven't shorted it just yet because Bitcoin isn't out of this zone of support, but I will be looking to do so if we start falling even farther. This is definitely not an ideal scenario for Bitcoin if you are looking for Bitcoin to go bullish. But guys, that's the technical analysis for today's video. What's the lesson? What's the moral of today's video? Because there's a lot that we can learn from this. Guys, there are two things that I've talked about on this channel a lot, and I think it's a good idea to talk about them again. One of them is patience. I've told you guys so much about the importance of patience. I also talk about humility a lot, but patience in this case is what's very important. Notice something on this chart because it's jumping out at you. You're looking at it in the face, and it's a very important lesson about patience. Look at this. Bitcoin was in uptrend here for 193 odd days, okay? Bitcoin uptrended for nearly 200 days, and it was great. We had a lot of fun, made a lot of money, really enjoyed ourselves. 2019 has been a fantastic year. I think we can all agree on that. Hopefully we can all agree on that. But now people are starting to get impatient because of a pullback. Notice this pullback has only gone on for about 150 days. There's another 50 days before it's even the same length as the uptrend. Now, that's relatively odd because I see a lot of people complaining about how long this downtrend is going on. But notice something. Bitcoin rallied 350% here in 200 days. It went on for a pretty long time. And now we pulled back 43% over this course of 150 days, and people were complaining. We've still not been as bearish for as long or had as big of a movement to the downside as we had when we moved to the upside. If you flip this movement, a 350% move, that's like the equivalent of a negative 70% move if you're moving bearish, because you can't go 300% to the downside. You'd be past zero, of course. We've got another 50 days until then. So why is everybody getting so damn impatient? I mean, this is really frustrating. I understand, guys. I understand. Yes, okay, you want to go back further in the market. You want to prove me wrong. You want to go back farther. Let's look at 2018. Okay, let's do that. Check out 2018. Wow, that was a whole 365 days, almost exactly a year of bearishness before we had our bull market. Moved 84% to the downside. I get that. But if you want to do this whole game of moving and looking at history, let's continue out with that. Let's continue looking at that, guys. Let's look at how long the 2016-17 bull market was. Oh, guess what? 865 days. 10,000%. What are you complaining about? I mean, seriously, I gotta smack some sense into some of you because some of you guys just do not understand what the deal is with this market. There are going to be pullbacks. There are going to be corrections. There's going to be sideways trading. There's going to be boring months, maybe even boring years. There's going to be times where you're unprofitable. There's going to be times where you're going to want to leave the space. But let me tell you something, guys, that's going to happen in any industry that you go into. There's a very, very intelligent person who runs a $20 million consultancy agency. His name is Sam Ovens on YouTube. Go follow him if you don't. Whenever I'm studying someone, I try to find a golden nugget of wisdom from them. For example, in the book Think and Grow Rich, in the first chapter, he talks about Henry Ford and how he basically willed the single block V8 into existence by telling his engineers, no, it will happen. Even if you don't think it will, it's going to happen. A year later, it happened. That's a golden nugget of information. From Sam Ovens, I got a golden nugget from him. He said, the grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. Applying that to this situation, I don't care what industry you're in, you're going to have ups and you're going to have downs. If you're trying to go into the medical industry, you're going to have to start with 10 years of probably ups and downs in college. If you want to go into stocks, do you really think it's going to be any different? There's going to be bear markets, guys. The success of an individual is going to be determined by your ability to withstand the storms. You know the meme in cryptocurrency with Bitcoin, if you can't handle my 40% retracements, then you can't handle my 4,000% gains. It's the same thing, guys. Bitcoin's on easy mode. We're in a long-term uptrend. By long-term, I mean the last 10 years we've been uptrending. If you can't stand 150 days of pullback, then maybe you're in the wrong market. So guys, moving on into the rest of this week and on into the rest of this year or however long this pullback takes, just remember, every day that you withstand bearishness, every day you withstand what you might consider a boring market, the stronger you get. And in the future, the more profitable you'll be because you'll be less emotional when coming into these markets. Guys, I hate using myself as an example because I don't like building myself up, but it's the best example I can think of. We uploaded a video to this YouTube channel every single day for 2 years. And the vast majority of that 2 years, guys, Bitcoin was in a bear market. Guess where we started this YouTube channel? Right there. Terrible place to start a cryptocurrency YouTube channel. The first year, Bitcoin kept pulling back. I never stopped. If you want to get anywhere in this world, you have to have patience, and of course, you have to have humility, but I'm focusing on patience right now. So guys, that's the lesson for today's video. If you're worried about Bitcoin pulling back to $7,200, if you're worried about pulling back to $66,000, I'd say pull all the way back down to the 200 weekly simple moving average, down to $35,000, $4,000. Go ahead, do that, Bitcoin, because I know I'm not going anywhere, and I know that because I'm not going anywhere, I will reap the rewards when the time comes. So tell me in the comment section down below if you guys agree with that sentiment, and also tell me in the comment section down below if you are interested in joining the First Cohort. See what I did there? Segue. Guys, if you want more rants like that, a great place to get it is the First Cohort, because whenever I think about something, I'm going to start going to the First Cohort just to rant about it, because I love talking about this stuff. There's a reason the last 7 minutes I've been talking about patience. It's because I love talking about type A personality kind of deals. That's who I'm trying to be. If you want more of that, the First Cohort's a great place to get that, guys. I think you're going to get every single penny of your value out of this. I mean, honestly, when I was building this product, I was at first going to have it for $100 a month. And I thought that it was worth every single penny when I was building it, and I still think it's worth every single penny for $100 a month if I were to charge that much. I don't want to do that because I want as many of you guys to be able to join as possible, because I want to get to know as many of you guys as possible. $25 a month is far more digestible of an amount of money than 100 is. If you guys want community, if you guys want videos, if you guys want wisdom shared by me and the members of the community, if you want community, if you want to get to know me, if you want those private weekly live streams, if you want to learn the cryptocurrency markets from other members hands-on through building relationships with people who know what they're doing, if you want to network, it's a great place to do that, guys. It's growing steadily, and I would love to see you over there. It would really mean a lot to me. I'd love to get to know you. It helps to build the business. It helps to pay the bills around here, because there are bills that need to be paid. I'm about to spend $1,500 on a new camera because I don't like this one. For any of you camera gurus out there, I'm about to buy an A6400 with a 30mm f1.4 lens for this setup, and I'm also moving my desk back there so we can have that wall behind the camera as the backdrop. You might notice the guest bed has been moved. It's now sitting in my garage. Anyway, guys, I'm really excited for the future. I think the future is looking bright. This video is going on for too long, but I don't care. But anyway, guys, this video is going on a little bit long, so I am going to go ahead and wrap it up. I do really want to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps out the channel, and it doesn't take very much time for you. It's very helpful when you do that. If you enjoyed the video and you're new here, also hit that subscribe button for daily cryptocurrency content. But anyway, guys, that's going to have to do it for today's video. I do want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching as always, and I will see you guys next video.